Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name's Annie. I'm the Senior Early Talent Advisor at Warner Brothers Discovery, so I look after all of our internship and apprenticeship programs across the UK. We're going to be doing a short presentation for you today, and you're also going to hear from some of our apprentices, so I'm just also going to let them introduce themselves really quickly. So if we want to start with Lottie.
Hi everyone, I'm Lottie. I'm a recruitment apprentice at Warner Brothers Discovery. I help Annie with looking after like the interns, all the graduates, the placements, apprentices. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Shalene, do you want to go next?
Oh, sorry, my voice is a bit croaky. Hi everyone, I'm the Home Entertainment Sales Apprentice. I started about 3 months ago now, and I'm in charge of all of the UK physical product. Over to Liv.
I'm Liv. I'm the licensing and retail apprentice. So I work in the consumer products department. So we basically handle merchandise and just anything with Warner Brothers IP on. It goes through us in the UK team. So yeah, I think I'm the last one.
Great, thanks everyone. And just to remind anyone on the call to please use the Q&A function that is below. We are offering an employability session to the most engaged students on our call. So please do use the function, and then we'll be getting to all the questions after our presentation. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen now, and we'll get started. So yeah, we're going to go over the different internship and apprenticeship programs that we offer at Warner Brothers Discovery. So whether you're thinking that university is the right route for you, or if you're thinking that an apprenticeship might be a good option, we'll talk about both of those and how they can sort of fit into your career path. So Warner Brothers Discovery, you may or may not have heard of us. We are a global media and entertainment company. It creates and distributes some of the world's most sort of incredible content. So we have TV, film, streaming, games. We work across more than 220 countries and territories, and in 50 different languages as well. So some of the companies under our umbrella that you may have heard of is Warner Brothers. So we obviously make the Harry Potter films, Barbie that just came out this year. We've got some incredible content under that umbrella. We also own HBO, we own TLC, Boomerang, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, CNN, Discovery Channel, sort of everything that you can see on the screen and more. So coming to work with us doesn't mean that you'll just be working on Warner Brothers content, but you'll actually be working across a variety of the brands that you see on the screen and more. So it's a really great opportunity to learn not just about film, but TV, games, streaming, and more as well. So where we're based in the UK, so we have 5 different offices across the UK. So we have our Chiswick Park office, which is the home of all of our Discovery content. So that's things like the Discovery Channel and TLC, and also TNT Sports. We also have our Old Street office, which is the home of CNN and our Legacy Turner content. So that includes everything like Adult Swim and Cartoon Network. And then we have our Holborn office, which is our Warner Brothers head office. So that's everything to do with our film, TVs and games that fall under the Warner Brothers umbrella. And then we also have 2 offices, one in Manchester and one in Brighton, which are home to our TT Games studios. So they create all of our console and mobile games, mainly things like the Lego Star Wars games, Batman Arkham Knight, and Hogwarts Legacy that just came out last year. So just to move on to the different programs that we do offer at Warner Brothers Discovery. So we have an undergraduate placement program. So if you think university is the right route for you, this is a really good opportunity for you to get some work experience in the business. So this is actually how I got into the business back in 2019. So when you go to university, you have the opportunity to do a placement year, which essentially you study for your first and second year, and then you do a year in industry, which is a year where you'll go and work for a company, get some experience. It's usually paid, it is where we are, and then you'll go back and do your final year at university afterwards, and it essentially sets you up that when you've graduated, you've got a whole year's worth of experience. So we offer roles for our placements in sort of marketing, publicity, sales, HR, sports, finance, games design, social, and more. Most of the roles are in our marketing departments. So they're working on all the campaigns for our films that are coming out, but also TV and games. And yeah, they're a 12-month program. They usually run from July to July. And all of our roles currently are hybrid. So we're in the office 2 to 3 days a week, and then home 2 to 3 days a week as well. And then we have our graduate internship program. So if you want to go to university, but you don't want to do a placement year, you can do a graduate internship program. So you do your 3 years at university, and then you can apply to work as a graduate intern with us. So it's a year-long contract that runs from September, from the September after you graduate. And essentially, it's a good opportunity for you to work for us for a year, and then we can try and pipeline you into a permanent position, or you can go on elsewhere having sort of a year's experience in a really big industry. Again, it is paid and it's hybrid, and the departments that we offer the roles in are largely the same as the placements. We offer about 35 placements, about 40 grads every year. We then have our CNN internship program. So you don't need to go to university for this. It's a 6-month program for people looking to sort of pursue a career in journalism. So you can apply for it straight out of school, or you can apply for it if you're at university. We have 2 cohorts per year. So one starts in September and runs until March, and the other starts in March and runs till September. If you're interested in journalism, this is a really good way to get experience. I guess the criteria for this is having some sort of writing or research skills, and also having some experience in that area. It doesn't have to be work experience, but if you sort of write blogs, if you create YouTube videos, vlogs, if you've written for like your student newspaper, anything like that, that's the sort of thing that they're looking for. And then they'll give you a lot of experience and training on our CNN programs. Yeah, so that's that. And then the last one I want to talk about is our apprenticeship program. So apprenticeships are a really, really fantastic opportunity if you decide that university isn't the right route for you. It's they're 18 months, but they can be extended for longer, and you'll study a qualification that's relevant to sort of the role you're doing. So most of our apprentices come and join us, and then they'll do a level 3 business administration qualification. So it's very generic, but it gives you the skills that you could take on to any other role. And then we can extend you onto a further apprenticeship where we could sort of put you onto a more relevant course, or we could even make you into a permanent member of staff. This is really great because you're earning money while you're learning. You get 20% of your time to work on your qualifications. So you work mostly 4 days a week, and then you'll have a day off to study towards your qualification. And yeah, it's just a really good opportunity. You don't have any debt, which you have when you go to university, and you come out with a qualification and experience, which actually sets you quite high above a lot of university graduates who are coming out with no experience trying to go to entry-level roles. So I think it's a really good opportunity for students, especially school leavers, but sometimes university, you know, really is the right route for you. So I think just consider all options, but apprenticeships are not just for people looking to go into sort of labour roles. Like, I think that's a really big misconception. So it's something to really think about. And you've heard from some of the apprentices already, but we have roles in sort of marketing, sales, HR, finance, comms, sort of everything like that. So you can pretty much do all the same things that you would do at uni as well. And then finally from us, just some recruiter tips. So this is sort of, if you're looking at the moment at sort of preparing your CVs and your portfolios and things like that, and you're starting to think about either applying to jobs or apprenticeships or university, these are some really key things that will help you when you're putting your CV together. So first of all, using action words. So looking at the jobs you're applying to and looking at the skills that they're really looking for. So if they're looking for sort of organizational skills or attention to detail, make sure that you're putting those into your CV. Have a really clear layout as well. So make sure that you've got it sectioned out into sort of your education or contact details at the top, your education, any work experience, and then your skills and interests as well. I would say that your CV does not need to be longer than 1 page. My CV is still 1 page, and I've got 3 or 4 years experience at this point. It really is just meant to be a summary of everything that you've done up until now. You don't need to go into detail about every single job that you've had. So yeah, I would just say try and just keep it clear and concise, and then it means that recruiters can open up your CV and get all the information they want pretty much instantly. Make sure it's intuitive. So for example, make sure it does look really clear if you're saying that you've got organizational skills, and also add a personal statement at the top. This will really help you, especially if you've not got any experience in that area, just to a couple of sentences to say that you're sort of interested in exploring a career in Warner Brothers Discovery, in the marketing team. That sort of thing just really helps you to stand out. And if you can tailor that to every job you apply to as well, it will really help you. You don't need a cover letter to apply for roles at Warner Brothers Discovery, but if you do need one to apply elsewhere, you should sort of split it into 3 sections. So why are you the best fit? Why is this company a company you want to work for? And why this role? And that's sort of how you should structure your cover letters. They're quite simple. They can usually be less than a page, but they are good. I'd say if you have the option to upload a cover letter, always do, because it will really help you. Reels and portfolios. So if you're going for a really sort of creative role, make sure you've got quality design and creativity. If you've got any real work, it's good to add, but if you've just got schoolwork to put on there, just make sure that you have something. It will really help, especially in those creative roles. And also make sure that the links are really obvious on your CV. Make sure they're right at the top and that they're easy to access as well. And then when you're going for interviews or assessment centres, leaving a great first impression is really important. So come prepared and having done a lot of research beforehand. So that includes things like rereading the job description, researching the company online, looking at their social media, looking them up on LinkedIn, looking at the department and the managers and things like that. It will really just help you to settle on the day as well. Prepare questions to ask at the end of your interview as well. Have a bank of about 8 to 10 because a lot of them might be asked or answered during the day or during the interview. So just make sure you have a few that you can ask at the end that aren't just sort of, what are the benefits of working here? Think about things like, oh, I saw this on the job description. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that would mean? Things like that just show that you're sort of really prepared and really keen to learn. And following up with a thank you note never goes amiss either, just to show that you're still keen and that you'd be happy for the team to sort of keep in contact with you. So that is all from me for now. So I'm going to move on to the Q&A if people want to start putting things in there. But I guess I'll just start by asking the apprentices to just give like maybe a summary or let us know sort of the best thing that you've worked on since you've been an apprentice. So what sort of the most exciting projects you've worked on. So does anyone want to start? Yeah, Lottie, go ahead.
I'll start. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind since starting, lots of fun things going on. I think the best thing I've done so far is working on the placements, and yeah, just looking at people's CVs, looking at what people are like. And then also we've got the apprentice roles coming up for the March cohort, which I'm really looking forward to because obviously I'm an apprentice. So it'll be really nice to see how people approach the application process and how I can help them with it and everything.
I don't mind going next. I think one of the best things I've worked on so far is the Global Wonka premiere that I did recently. That was really exciting. It was more of a off the job kind of work that I got the opportunity to do, but it was really exciting because obviously you had Timothy that was there and you had some like Rowan Atkinson and you had like some incredible actors there, including influencers and things. And I think it really gave me the opportunity to see how a different department works, whereas I'm in sales and what I was doing that night was in event management. So it gave me a good insight of other departments as well. And also it was an amazing event. It's one of the biggest events that has gone on. But yeah, that's one of my recent top highlights.
Probably a lot of my job is sort of surrounding like pitching. So I'm specifically dealing with the Primark account in terms of getting product into Primark that has the Warner Brothers IP on it. And I think the most exciting thing so far is the swing pitches we do. So for every season, either spring, summer or autumn, winter, we pitch a year out sort of big campaigns within Primark. So envision like a floor space takeover, those kind of things. Is that what we're really going for? So being involved in one of those pitches, having to do months and months of prep work and then finally delivering it. And I was feeling brave enough to speak in that meeting. So that was a big achievement for me. But yeah, those meetings are really, really scary, but they're also really fun because you do feel like you're doing something meaningful, getting product into where you need it. So yeah, definitely a highlight for me so far.
Great. And would you all just mind telling us a little bit about your sort of journey as well in, I guess, deciding to do an apprenticeship as opposed to university, and I guess where you search for them and how you found this role? So Olivia, I think you're still off mute, so do you want to go first?
Yeah, for sure. So I intended to come out of college, do a gap year and go to university. but I kind of found myself in full-time work in that gap year at like an independent coffee shop. And I got really, really close to the owner just because we were kind of solely working together for a year. And I had previous kind of A-level qualifications in graphic design and photography. And she basically said, do you want the reins to the social media? So that's where I kind of got my first insight into social media management. And that was a really, really good piece of experience to put on my CV. So then I went into an entry-level marketing job just at a local kind of company near me. And yeah, that's when my plans to do a gap year kind of went out the window, and I was like, it's actually really fun to work full-time and get a salary. So I just kind of continued with that and just really kept an eye out for any opportunities I think would be really engaging. I remember browsing the Warner website just over and over again to see if there's anything that took my fancy. And I think it is just about having a really open mind, because I never kind of envisioned myself going down the apprenticeship route. I think I had kind of the perception that a lot of people do, that it's for like you said, manual jobs and things that you have to have like physical learnings of. But yeah, I just kind of built up my experience and was lucky enough to kind of construct my CV in a way that made me seem appealing enough. So yeah, it was all kind of a perfect storm in a way for me.
Great, thank you. Charlene?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Annie. For the age criteria, it is 18, right? Okay, good. Okay. So I studied esports in college for 2 years. So I was one of the first people to study that course in college, which was a bit of an experience because everything was brand new and very itty bitty, you could say. So for those of you who don't know, esports is online gaming, but this included shoutcasting or live streaming and events, and then onwards I knew I didn't want to study at uni. You could say I've always been working. I'd prefer to work rather than study at uni and become in all that debt. So in June, I think it was February, March, I applied for a role, and I got through to the interviews. It was a funny stage, and I didn't reach the age criteria because I was 17, but I was told to look out on the website and when I was 18. So I made sure, like Liv, I made sure to constantly check the WBD careers website, and you can filter it to early talent, which shows you all the apprentices and interns roles. And I turned on my notifications, so I was first off on the bat getting all those notifications for all those roles that were coming up, and I applied to the roles that I found suitable to me. And yeah, so I ended up getting this role, which is the home entertainment sales role, which I'm really pleased that I got, because I feel like it's the team that I work best in. But yeah, that's my experience getting into this role.
Yeah, so I did A levels. I did art, economics, and psychology at a local sixth form. And I know a lot of people who have gone to university. I know some who've done an apprenticeship. So I'm sort of a person who sort of listens to others and then sees how I should take it from there, if that makes sense. But I've always been a very hands-on learner. Like at school, I would have to, if I was revising, I'd have to like make up little games or do something like that instead of just, watching a video and making notes. Like I'd have to do it very hands-on just so I could get it in my brain. And that's what I like about an apprenticeship, as opposed to going to university and just sitting in lectures, just being given work. So yeah, I just applied to loads of different websites. I'd say LinkedIn was the best for looking at job opportunities. That's where I found the one for Warner Brothers Discovery. I originally found a different role to apply to, but then I got into this role, which I think is actually much better suited to me. I feel like I'm helping people get to where I am today, because I love my role. It's such an exciting role, working with some lovely people. So yeah, that's how I sort of got into it and decided not to go to university.
Great. I've seen some questions come through on the chat, so there's a couple that I'm just going to power through and answer really quickly, and then I'll ask you guys what they've asked. So someone's asked, is virtual work experience as good as in-person work experience when applying for an apprenticeship? Yes, I would say so. I'd say in-person does have certain benefits, but if it's relevant to the job, any work experience is good. We have a lot of people applying that don't have any experience, so anything that you can get will definitely help you in applying. Applications for our 2024 group, we have 2 cohorts, so we recruit for a March and a September cohort. For the group that will be starting in March, we open on Monday next week, so that's the 11th of December. And then if you're wanting to start working with us next September, we'll be opening around May, June time, so keep an eye on our website around then. And then there's another question about deadlines for applying to apprenticeships, and the deadlines will all be listed on the job description. So when you click in to apply, the deadline will be at the bottom. So you just need to make sure that you're checking the whole job advert, and then you'll be able to see when the deadlines are. We usually keep them open for 3 to 4 weeks, but we can close them early. So I would just say apply as soon as possible. So someone's asked, if each of you could give one piece of advice to students who want to start an apprentice at WBD, what would it be?
I would say for me, just take your time with the application process. Don't rush it. You know, like if it's a job that you really want and you think you'd be really suited for, even if you're worried about the deadline and you're like, oh, I must apply immediately, otherwise they might not see it or something. Take your time, you know, look up the company culture, what they're about, and sort of tailor it to yourself. Look at your experience, don't leave anything out. Just showcase everything that you've done and everything that could make you a suitable candidate or employee.
You and guys.
I think I would say if you get to interview stage, just make sure you are completely yourself. Because I think you also have to do it, you're kind of interviewing the role as much as they're interviewing you for the role. And you do have to kind of just work out if you're well suited, like Lottie said, with the company culture and things like that. So I think don't get too stressed about coming across a certain way in your interview. I think if you are yourself, that's almost the best job you can do, because then you can see if you're suited for it as well.
Yeah, I agree with Lottie and Liv. I think Warner Brothers is a very creative industry, so they're looking for someone that's unique and themselves, not someone who's pretending to be someone else or pretending to be amazing when everyone has their flaws. But yeah, I'd say the same. Be yourself, research the company. A little interview tip is ask questions, not only for the recruiter, but for yourself as well. Like Liv said, you need to decide whether the role's right for you as well, not just if the recruiter is going to choose you or not. So I think do your research and be yourself is 2 really important tips.
Great, and I agree with what everyone said. I think that the main thing is that we're not looking for someone with experience or to have studied anything in particular. We're really looking for your passion to work in that role and at WBD. So yeah, the more research you can do and the more prep you can do, the more you can be yourself, the better and the more comfortable you'll be at the interview process as well. Someone has asked.
Sorry, I just had like another like tip, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Just like adding on, I think if you get to like the interview stage or an assessment center stage, I'd say don't over worry about it, because it's really not as scary as it seems. I did an assessment center. It was really fun, nice to get to know everyone. Everyone's so lovely. And you know, when you get to interview, it's not a test. They just want to get to know a bit more about you. It's honestly not as scary as it comes across.
Great, thanks, Lottie. Someone has asked what types of things you'd write in a personal statement. This is really going to depend on the type of role you're applying for, but I would usually write maybe 2 or 3 sentences. The first sentence can just be like, you don't need to change it. You can say like an enthusiastic student looking to pursue a career in marketing, you know, just something like that that's sort of key. And then you can change the next bit depending on the role you're applying for. So you can be like, excited to apply for the marketing apprenticeship role at Warner Brothers Discovery because I think it's a great alternative to university, and I'm looking forward to working within the home entertainment department because I have a passion for DVDs and home content, that sort of thing. I think it's going to depend on the role you're applying for, but I'd say the first sentence can just be something about you, and then the next bit can be about sort of why you're applying to the specific role you're applying to, and then it can literally just be 1 to 2 sentences, so it's quite easy to sort of change up. And then someone else, I'm just going to ask, answer quickly, are there any specific GCSE or A levels needed for any departments? I would say no, other than finance. With the finance roles you will need a maths A level, but with everything else there's no specific. I mean, Lottie did like a massive, I think everyone here did a massive mix of GCSEs and A levels, so we're not going to judge you based on what you chose to do back in, I don't know, however many years ago, because you don't know what you want to do at that point when you're picking your GCSEs and A levels, so it's not fair to sort of say you now can't do this route. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. And then someone's asked, what indirect skills that you learned from your A levels would you say helped you in progressing your career? And additionally, what would you consider the most valued characteristic in your role? It's quite a lot.
I think my A levels, I completed them kind of in the thick of COVID, so a lot of it was remote working, online working. So I think I learned a lot about working independently and how to kind of use my initiative to find ways of working without having to consistently go and ask for help. Obviously, don't get me wrong, asking for help is great, but I think there's a lot of tasks you can complete day to day, kind of just using your brain to get around them. And I think that taught me a lot about applying previously learned skills to a task that doesn't seem completely similar, but you can extract like, oh, I was really good at timekeeping in a previous task, so I can now utilize that in this one. And I think in terms of what's really useful for my role is just being proactive. I don't have a set day to day. I don't have a to-do list to get through every day. A lot of mine is kind of using what I did yesterday to decide what am I going to do today to be proactive and, you know, try and get more SKUs and product into Primark today. So I think initiative, being proactive, and just making sure you're not discounting skills you've learned from previous situations just because they don't necessarily seem relevant to what you're approaching today. I think everything you learn can be used in ways to help you in the present. So yeah, I hope that was inspiring enough.
Yeah, I'd basically say the similar skills to live. I think a key skill I also learned is being able to work online, because that is quite key in the job role that I'm currently in. I'm working on Zoom or Teams, and I know my way throughout the apps and softwares. Another skill I learned is also having the confidence to present. I'm not saying this is a necessity, but specifically to my A levels or BTECs, you could say I presented or I managed stuff. So it's really helped me in my role currently if I need to present or delegate roles or decide whether I need to do something now, or just like helping me in general. But those are the 2 main skills that I learned.
Yeah, I would say Olivia and Shalene put it pretty perfectly. Yeah, I had to do, during COVID, lots of online learning, which definitely has helped me with working from home and everything. But then also getting back into school after COVID, again, to socialize with people has definitely helped with my social skills and my confidence. And then in terms of my actual learning, I'm doing a level 3 business administration apprenticeship. And so when I did my economics A level, that sort of is helping me now with the actual learning on my apprenticeship. I wouldn't say it's like 100% necessary, but it's definitely helped me understand things a bit more and just imagine things more in my head, more like terms and things like that, and be able to like apply situations to my work life and everything like that.
Great, thanks everyone. I think we're at time. Jade, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, a few seconds left and that says past.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for coming. We hope you found this insightful. We have got a booth up with some information in if you want to go in and have a look at that. But otherwise, we'll be going live with our apprentice roles on Monday for the March cohort, and then you can keep an eye on our website in May and June if you're interested in applying for our September cohort for next year. But thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thanks,
That's great.
everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.